So Billie Eilish has been doing the same interview a year apart for a while now, and in one of her interviews, she said she really felt she was connected to different versions of herself.
I think it's October 18th, 2017.
It's October 18th, 2018.
October 18th, 2019. October 18th, 2020.
October 18th, 2021.
October 18th, 2022.
Favorite thing about doing this interview? I don't know, I feel really connected to myself. It's really cool to have these, 5 versions of myself to interact with. That's just so insane. It feels like I'm interacting with other people, but also it's me. It's just really cool. I don't know, I really like that.
I think it's a really different perspective from what is usually thrown at us online, because I think a very common point of view is, hey, this person was behaving completely differently behind the screen. How dare, this is so insincere and dishonest. Look at the scandal, etc. So I think it's really rare to treat online copies of yourself with some amount of respect, let alone giving them some sort of identity. So today we're going to talk about that, and last time I promised that I would be talking about Billie Eilish, so this will be very, very interesting. And before we start our video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. There are more than 100 million YouTube channels right now, and because there are so many YouTubers, their sincerity or the deviation from their real life self always comes into question, because it's directly tied to their value or the amount of attention we want to give them. If they're just being deceptive, you don't want to spend time watching them, just like you don't want to spend time with people who always lie to you unless you really have a good reason. And it's extremely clear to me that the online personalities might be vastly different from who they are in real life, unintentionally. And I think there are 2 reasons if you think about it from the online personality's perspective. One is the fact that the people they interact with online are not necessarily the same people they interact with in real life. I think this is very similar to having friends of different interests, because the topics we discuss with some friends can differ from the topics we bring up with other friends. And I think the second is the nature of the platform itself, because if you simply know that your words can reach a wide audience, it changes the way you communicate. You would try your best to polish yourself up, because the online footprint lasts virtually forever. And I think that's why I think just because someone is different online doesn't necessarily mean they're being deceptive or that we should be disappointed, unless they are intentionally, blatantly lying about something. We can also think of a hypothetical situation, which can also be the reality for many people, where you're trapped in an environment that no one gives you any attention and no one accepts you, and you're pressured to constantly censor yourself so they can shine more in digital spaces than in their real life. And some people say it's easier to be honest to strangers than people who actually already know you, because they do not have the preconceptions about you. So this is, if I can call it my own way, an inverted mask inside out. And maybe that's a form of relief for those people. While some people might exaggerate for views, for other people, the online world is where they can truly be themselves. So when you think about it, our generation is constantly online after all. So anyways, for me, my online presence has lived somewhat comparable to how long I have lived in terms of time watched. And it's because of this one video. And when it first went viral, it was terrifying, because before that, I was just making video for sake of my own experience. So it was more than just overwhelming. It gave me so much anxiety. And I honestly still do not understand how online personalities survive that level of attention. Thankfully, the comments have been mostly positive so far, but still, it's very overwhelming. And there are so many more things I want to share, like new ideas, learning new languages, analyzing books, going through discussions, and talking about work environments, which are broad and relatable topics that can resonate with almost anyone. Now, going back to the original topic of viewing your online self as a separate entity, the question here is whether having an online persona will eventually change or even gobble up your actual personality. The question is, if you treat the people who listen to you as the same people who you would meet in your day-to-day life, which is very normal when you think about it, But when we are behind the screen, we don't really think about the power of our words. And sure, just in real life, some people won't like you, and some others will listen but not pay much attention. And a few people might genuinely resonate with what you say. Just like the founder of Alibaba once said, there will always be people who oppose you. So the online world is not always very peaceful. And the sheer fact that our social media connects us with everyone on the planet gets more overwhelming as we garner more viewership. So I don't think there's a certain number that a person generally cannot handle, but I think in some sense we, as human beings, crave for the sense of recognition because gathering likes and comments validates our experiences and expressions. And if one version of me exists in physical reality and another thrives online, the mismatch and contradictions are on their way and they're predictable. And even with the smallest online presence, I think we always live in the tension to resolve it to our best possible degree. So, what do you think? How much validation will it take before real life approval feels insignificant? How much likes and comments will it take before you feel finally confident enough to express your true beliefs? It's a bit terrifying to think about it because it feels like you face the question of what your authentic self is. And I don't want my online self to infringe on my real world identity because they should be the same people. So far, my real life friends tell me that these are just the same because I'm pretty random in real life as well. And personally, it's very reassuring to know that my online and offline personalities have remained consistent. And I hope that continues. And I believe that if the internet becomes too detached from reality, which is happening more and more, ironically, the online self loses its value because online spaces are only meaningful when they reflect real life in some way. You know, I don't want my online persona to consume me because of that, and I'm pretty content with my current platform. I mean, maybe if I get more viewership, I'd be able to do more creative stuffs, but also, that means I'll have to invest more time in the preparation. So the more I get viewership, I have to learn more because the online presence has to be more polished. And there are so many people who are incredibly remarkable online already. So when I watch their videos, I always tell myself, why would someone even watch my videos? Even I myself would watch theirs, not mine, and kind of funny self sabotage. Anyways, I hope to have an ability to create somewhat more enjoyable and interesting conversation and to be more articulate in expressing myself. And it's really cool to have an online copy of yourself. Your online copy is not haunted by past memories and you can later show it to your friends. And just like writing is a form of self-expression to keep your mental sanity, I do see how this becomes a necessity for some people to maintain their identity when people around them don't want them to behave in a certain way. But sure, it's not a personal journal, so when you put yourself out, it always becomes risky in some shape or form because we don't get to choose the people who read or respond to our words. And that unpredictability is part of the experience. But yes, if you have ideas or opinions, please share them in the comment section and see you next time. Bye bye.